You know, I got a real shark lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, they see this shit real, and they see that, like, if a judge see this, what has been done to me, he's gonna be pissed off, bro, because, man, this was wrong, bro. Like, they need to just go and cough up that money and let's get, you know, they need to go and make me a proposal.
What's up with it, Rizzle fam? Today, we're going to be talking about Boosie, his brother TQ, and an up-and-coming R&B singer who goes by the name Yung Bleu. Boosie claims that his brother TQ stole Yung Bleu from his label, despite the fact that Boosie was trying to put him on and blow him up. TQ claims that Boosie was trying to snake on both of them because he doesn't put any money into his artists. But what's really going on here? At the end of the day, who's out here snaking on who? Let's get down into it and find out. We gotta start at the beginning here though, just to make sure we all understand who the key players are. Yung Bleu, he's a singer from Atlanta, whose real name is Jeremy Biddle. He was born back in April of '94 in Mobile before heading on over to the A. He started taking music a little more seriously back in 2013 and eventually caught the attention of Boosie Badazz, signing to his imprint on Columbia Records, Azz Music Syndicate. During the time spent on Boosie's label, he wasn't very active. In 2017, Yung Bleu decided that he was going to start putting some hits out again. He dropped the tracks Miss It and I Saw My Baby. Those tracks came from the mixtape Investments 4, which he managed to land a feature from NBA Youngboy on. In 2020, he released Investments 5 and Blue Vandross, which were his last projects on Azz Music Syndicate. After that, he signed with Empire Distribution and Meek Mill. Then, out of nowhere, Drake did a remix of one of his tracks, boosting him to superstardom pretty quick. After this, people really started taking notice. On his debut album Moonboy, released in July of 2021, he managed to get features from people like Gunna, Chris Brown, 2 Chainz, and Kodak Black. Now, why is it exactly that he went from nothing to something, like as soon as he got off Boosie's label? Well, let's get into Boosie and TQ just a little bit here. Boosie Badazz was a member of the hip-hop collective Concentration Camp. He was born in Baton Rouge back in '84, and he quickly became one of the most prominent figures in the southern hip-hop subgenre. He struck out on his own in 2000 with Youngest of the Camp. In 2002, he released a landmark album, For My Thugs. TQ, whose real name is Takari Hatch, functioned as a business partner when Boosie finally started his label. They had some issues with the label pretty much since its inception. See, while Boosie was in jail, a bunch of random artists started to act like they were affiliated by saying they were on Badazz Inc. TQ urged him to rebrand the name of the label so they didn't have to deal with it, but Boosie didn't feel like it. Boosie and Yung Bleu initially met after Bleu dropped his mixtape Investments 4. After a long time spent booking his own shows and paying for his own promo with the money he was making off a manual labor job, he decided to email a track to Boosie. Boosie's brother TQ emailed him back. Both TQ and Boosie liked the music they heard, so they called Bleu up and they wanted to talk to him. Very next day, they flew Bleu out for a meeting. He said Boosie was his favorite rapper, and he was basically just throwing a Hail Mary pass to see if it landed. He got lucky, and he has a career because of it. Yung Bleu showed him a few more tracks, and then Boosie came to his hometown where they did a show. After all that, he did all the paperwork, and it was officially signed. Back in 2016, Boosie claimed someone had hacked into his bank account with Capital One and siphoned money out of his account. Reports from TMZ say that over a course of a couple years, Boosie had over $350,000 stolen from him. At first, no one was sure who the culprit was, despite the fact that wire transfers as big as 80 grand had been made at one time. Boosie blames the whole situation on the fact that he lost his driver's license and assumed that whoever stole it was the one who managed to get access to his bank account. I don't know how that's possible, but alright. Looking at the paper trail, wire transfers were made to 8 different people. On one of those calls to the bank, pretend Boosie claimed that he had a wife. That's what set the whole thing off. The fraud department immediately realized that Boosie didn't have a wife, and they were talking to someone else pretending to be him. According to the police report that TMZ obtained, the records showed that TQ was the one making the transfers. TQ, his own brother! The scam he was running was essentially that he would wire the money over to some of his friends, and they would withdraw the money and give it back to TQ. TQ finally ended up getting arrested, and after that, he was booked on identity theft and fraud charges. In that interview with Vlad TV, he ended up asking Yung Bleu about TQ, and Bleu basically just claimed that he didn't know anything about all that. Yung Bleu eventually decided to part ways with Boosie's label, but he claims he still misses with Boosie and wants to rep the brand. He just wants to step away and pursue his career in a more independent manner. The issue is that he's still rolling with TQ as his manager. In an interview with Hip Hop DX, Yung Bleu said the following: We just understood that I wanted to go the independent route, and he fully understood what I wanted to do. When I tell a lot of people that I'm independent, that don't necessarily mean that I don't f with Boosie on his label. I came to Boosie and told him I still wanted to rock with the brand, but not signed to Columbia no more. I just wanted to rock independently without a major label, and Boosie was cool with it. He just wanted me to give him his profit and participation on the albums that I had left with him, and I did. I'm still badass though. I'm badass for life. Everyone took this to mean that Yung Bleu was leaving Azz Music Syndicate and instead moving on to Meek Mill's label Dream Chasers. Instead, he explained in another interview with DJ Vlad that he just signed a management deal with Meek. He wasn't out of his contract with Boosie or anything like that. He said, yes, I'm still signed to Boosie. I never signed with Meek. He manages me. Only thing different is I own my masters now. Boosie label is independent. We independent. It's no more Bleu and Boosie joining with a major label. It's just Bleu and Boosie doing whatever the f they want to do. We do what we want to do. We good. Weirdly enough, pretty much right after that, Yung Bleu contradicted himself, and Boosie said he has no clue what exactly Bleu was talking about. Yung Bleu said, my situation is more difficult than contracts. It's really more like, it's not really contracts. It's like a loyalty. I'm not technically signed to Boosie. I'm just signed to him just because we just tied in. He let me sign any other deal. He let me go sign my new deal. I just let him keep what was in the contract. Boosie said, nah, bruh, I don't really know what Bleu was talking about. He owed me 3 albums right now. I'm waiting on him to turn the first one in. Turn this one in, and he probably was saying that because I let him do him. I don't hold him down. The stuff I let Bleu do, a CEO don't let it go. But he's a megastar. Sometimes you gotta let megastars do what they do, because they still gonna bring in the bag. I've been believing in him. I've been believing in him since day one. It's paying off right now. He finna drop the album, and it's just like sky's the limit. At this point, it kind of sounds like Boosie and Yung Bleu are on completely different pages right now. The situation got more complicated when the artist Ice Star claimed that Boosie and Yung Bleu used his beats without his permission. Apparently, he didn't get paid for the beats for Miss It or Ice on My Baby. He claimed that multiple beats were used without his knowledge, authorization, and without any compensation whatsoever on those 2 songs and other songs that showed up on Investment 5. Ice Star was using a service called BeatStars, where up-and-coming producers can sell their beats to rappers. According to him, he ended up signing the rights to the beat away before he even knew they were using the track. Both the tracks his beats were used on ended up going certified gold, and honestly, we don't blame bro for being mad. In 2021, Yung Bleu gave an interview with Hot New Hip Hop where he tried to explain that certain interviews had tried to show his relationship with Boosie in a bad light. Both Boosie and Yung Bleu have accused Vlad TV of trying to paint the whole thing negatively. At Yung Bleu's interview, he said, we really like family, so it's more than the contract. Whatever I said I'm gonna do, I'm still do. A lot of people can't relate to that because it's strictly business with the people that they do business with. Me and Boosie, he like my big bro. They try to bring back stuff that I said and stuff like that just get to him to say something, but I really be around Boosie. That brings us to this year, when Boosie claims that he was basically screwed out of a lot of money by the people surrounding Yung Bleu. He isn't mad about Bleu himself, but he thinks that both he and Bleu have been taken advantage of by a lot of people in the business. He said, nah, I gotta take everybody to court. I gotta take everybody to court. It's just the people who all was behind it. People did some messed up business and it's coming back. It's gonna come back to haunt everybody, bro. I was just over, bro. I don't really blame Bleu. A lot of people over him, a lot of labels, and it's just a big old thing right now. But court's gonna figure that shit out. We'll get past this shit, but as a businessman, I gotta do what a businessman gotta do. Despite the fact that Bleu and Boosie should have beef here, both of them still got love for each other. In fact, back in February 2021, Yung Bleu gave Boosie $100,000 just to show his gratitude to Boosie for putting him on. Although the post isn't on Instagram anymore, the post originally read, 100 racks just for supporting me from the jump, Boosie. Told you to put the ball in my hand, I was gonna score. We up more on the way. That goodwill wouldn't be around forever though. Yung Bleu called out DJ Vlad in bold letters early on in 2022 saying, Vlad, you got your wish, bruh. You've been building this shit with me and Boosie for 5 interviews straight after we constantly told you the love we have for each other. You got what I wanted, white man. Some black men going at it. Vlad TV, you finally got what you've been wanting, man. You ain't stopped pressuring till you got the response you wanted out of us. You live for this, don't you? Long as shit benefit your platform, but I'ma no longer speak on it. I just got some great new to balance that interview I just had to was. I'm real as they come. According to Boosie, Yung Bleu's people tried to cut him out of Blue's life after he got shot. Bleu claims that Boosie never wanted to put in work to make his career blow up. According to Bleu, Boosie wasn't paying him to do music videos or promo or anything like that, so he had to cut his losses and leave despite the fact that he had love for Boosie. Boosie said that Bleu should step in and put his foot down so that he's not screwing Boosie over. Apparently, they offered Boosie $2 million for the sake of stopping lawyers from getting involved. It's apparently to the point where TQ is trying to pull a hostile takeover of Azz Music Syndicate. Now, Boosie claims that he and everyone else are officially in court. He also claimed that they now seem so messed up on this case that a public defender could easily win it. He thinks there's no way they're going to be able to prove that he wasn't done dirty. The full interview is behind a paywall now because I guess Vlad TV is too big for the general public now. Anyway, Boosie's now claiming that in the hostile takeover, they had a contract written up. On that contract, they forged Boosie's name, but spelled it wrong. That doesn't necessarily prove it's forged, but it still makes a pretty good case in the court. TQ claims the only reason they ever wanted to cut Boosie out is that he wasn't going to put in work for Yung Bleu. He didn't respect him enough as an artist because he wouldn't even put any money into promo for him. Recently, TQ decided he was going to post the roster for Azz Music Syndicate and point out that none of these artists had blown up. According to TQ, the issue is the exact same. Boosie is greedy. He just wants to sit back and get a check rather than hustling for the artists on his label. TQ said, "Here's over 20 badass artists Boosie signed. These are just the ones I remember. Some of these dudes should have been getting a bag, but show me where Boo as a CEO invested in their project, released their project, or took them somewhere," he wrote. "Stop the cap. Also, peep who I signed. Tell the truth. It's gonna come out anyway. If you know, you know." People in the comments were honestly clowning on Boosie because the thing is, none of these artists are actually big. One fan said, "Laugh my ass off because I definitely don't know any of them." Another fan said, "It's the list of names for me starting with the first one." They're probably talking about the fact that a good few names on the list include the phrase badass. I hate to sit here and joke about Boosie like this, but fans kind of have a point here. That being said, Boosie was definitely done dirty. But what do y'all think about this whole mess though? Did TQ and Yung Bleu do Boosie wrong? Or is it his fault for not supporting the artist on his label in the first place? Does Boosie have a case regardless of what he says is true? Let us know what you think down below in the comments section, and be sure to check this next video out if you like this one here. And as always, don't forget to keep it Rizzle.